recently I posted a video on different countries that people can move to aside the UK that have easy immigration policies and procedures, and I mentioned Australia as one of those countries. And I can see that a lot of people are really interested in moving to Australia and they've been asking questions. And I'm also sure that this is going to benefit a lot of people who also have interest or who are yet to make up their mind on the countries to move to. So I'm here to basically tell you guys how you can move to Australia, opportunities for you in Australia, job opportunities, everything, as in like ways, easy ways that you can move to Australia with your family. And I have a special guest here who is here to do justice to this topic. So you really need to stick around so you get all the details. And if you're interested in moving to Australia, you can start packing your bags. So my name is Tochi. You guys are welcome to my channel. Please like this video, share it to everyone that will benefit from it, okay? So my guest is going to introduce herself and then we'll just get started.
Hi everyone. Hi, my name is Jane. I live in Australia and I'm a YouTuber too. And today we want to talk about moving to Aussie, all the possible way you can move to Australia. My YouTube channel is Jane Kenny's Creation as shown on the screen. And we all talk about jabbering, migration to Australia.
Without wasting much time, let's just get started. Yeah.
Okay.
For somebody who is trying to figure out how to move to Australia, or for even somebody who is trying to make up their minds on the country to move to, what are the opportunities available for anybody who wants to move to Australia?
Okay. First of all, I will tell you, Tochi, that I will tell you everyone that Australia is a beautiful country. It's a pity that most people don't know much about Australia, and that was actually why I started my YouTube channel. So I know it's very far from so many countries, especially people from Africa, but I always say that Australia is a home far away from home, okay? A lot of job opportunity for people living in Australia, like you go work tire, okay? Now them go, they rush you, The main thing is, how do you come to Australia? Like, how do you finally move? Okay, there are many pathways, okay, rather routes to come to Australia, a lot. Okay, previously people always go through student migration pathway, where you find a admission, you get admission, you pay your school fees, go for a visa, and you move to Australia. Okay, but there are other pathways. But through student visa too, a lot of people have migrated through that pathway. Once you get your visa and you land in Australia, there is nothing like going back. Because I've seen your video, when you talk about permanent resident to citizenship pathway, or rather student visa to PR and citizenship, it's very clear in Australia. So you know what you are doing, okay? I can surely tell you that if you graduate in Australia for maybe 2 years program, you can actually finish your studies and get permanent residence. There is a pathway. And some states in Australia have program like PR or work visa program for students, overseas students that graduate from their state without even job experience. They have a visa for you post qualification. But federal migration process also have a visa for overseas graduates in Australia. Okay, apart from that, now we have skill migration pathway, okay, exactly like Canada. But Canada one is very popular because when some people make inquiry and they ask me, I say exactly what you do with West in Canada when you want to migrate to Canada, the same process with Australia skill migration. Okay, there is also job pathway. So when you talk about job pathway, you have to find a job. Then employer will sponsor you. Okay, so when you talk about the easiest way, or rather the cheapest, it's not the easiest way. You agree with me that finding overseas job is really hard, but people do it. It is possible, okay, but it's something you need to work hard towards, and it's a process. So it's not something that you can just search for one job and you will find, or maybe 10 and you will find. No. If you make up your mind that you want to actually get overseas job in a first world country like Australia, you really need to work hard towards it. But one thing for sure is that people are doing it. People from your country are moving via that route. It is possible. Okay. Recently, I shared a popular news where someone from Nigeria got a job in Australia as a fetal mechanic and moved to Australia with the family. So I'm going to talk about the, when you want to look for a job in Australia from outside of Australia as an overseas worker, there are job sites where you can search for these jobs. Anyways,
I was about to ask that, yeah.
Yeah, there are job sites. But one thing for sure is that if you go to Google, anyways, and search for, maybe, for example, you say visa sponsorship job in Australia, depending on your occupation, maybe you're a teacher or something, it will bring something out anyways. And it can direct you to these job sites. That's one thing for sure. Google will do that for you. But if you want to be specific, you can go to seek.com, Seek Australia, okay? Seek.com.au.
That's
or you go.
Sorry, can we get the spelling, please?
It's Seek as in SEEK.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Seek Australia, okay? So when you go there, you can search for a job in your profession and you can add visa sponsorship. I made some videos about that and how to search for these jobs as well, okay? When you find a job, you find out the criteria. Some people tell me that they apply for job, they don't have experience. I said, you don't use one CV to apply for different jobs. Each job you search, you need to update your CV to suit that job. Remember, you have one profession, but when you find each job, you need to read their requirements and update your CV to suit that job, to suit that particular employer, okay? So people make this mistake and say they have CV and they'll be applying for jobs. I'm like, do you update this CV when you're applying, or you just boom, 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 going, okay? So that's one thing we need to know. So when you finally land a job in Australia, the employer will sponsor you to come over. It is the cheapest pathway, okay? Not everyone gets that opportunity anyways. However, there are other ways where you do not need a job. And Tochi, when I tell people that you can actually be in your home country or wherever you are and shoot for permanent resident Australia and you get it.
For real?
And it is 100% possible.
Wow.
My family came with permanent residents. Like, we were outside of Australia and we became a permanent resident and we landed as permanent residents. It is possible, and you do not need to find a job in Australia. But what will happen is this: you must do skill assessment. People are so scared of that process. I do not know why. In most professions, you do not need to write exam. But if you're doctor, nurses, pharmacists, and so on, those
health,
sector professions, you need to write exam, their council exam or board exam, because you're an overseas trained professional, okay? For someone like accountant, you do not need to write exam. For someone that is like a teacher, you do not need to write exam, and so many other occupations. Mechanic, we have tailors, hairdressers, but where most people are being limited in some semi-skilled profession like mechanic, tailor, hairdresser, and so on, is that they are professionals here. They know their skills anyway. They've been in this occupation for they have experience like over 5 years. But the thing is that you need to have a trade certificate, okay? So you need to have something to show, because you are talking to an overseas person that doesn't know you. How would they know that you actually qualify to do this? Okay, so you need to give them something. And most people do their training in just one company, and they don't have any recognized trade certificate. So, but some countries do, okay? That's another thing I keep telling people. If you actually have migration in mind and you are doing all this semi-skilled training and so on, make sure you go to a company or a school that can give you something that you can use to present abroad. Okay. Now, if you want to migrate to Australia without a job, all you need to do is this. We have a migration website. It's called Home Affairs, Department of Home Affairs. Okay. I share it every time on my page. So you go there, everything you need to know about Australian migration is there. We have visa 190, which is a permanent resident from outside of Australia, offshore and onshore. So anyone outside of Australia can apply for it. But the thing is that you need to follow the process. And the process is this. You find your occupation in the federal list. You go to the state list and find out which state. We have how many states in Australia? At least we have at least 6 or 7 states in Australia and a capital territory. So each state has its own immigration process or website, just like Canada. Okay? So you go and find the state. So what the state does is that, let's assume that the federal list is about 10,000 occupation or maybe 50,000 occupation. So each state will go to that occupation list and draw only what they need. So they may take 1,000 out of the 50,000. Okay. So you need to find a state that has your occupation in their list. So you go through their pathway. The state will nominate you once you meet all the requirements and do expression of interest. The state will nominate you to apply for visa. And you get your visa, and voila, you japa, like you move. If you want a quicker visa, that when you come to Australia, you are going to struggle to settle down, you go for visitor visa or tourist visa, okay? Because there have been a lot of inquiry about this particular visa because it seems to be the easiest, okay? I've made a video about that. But the thing is that when you come in, you will struggle. Because with that visa, you cannot work and you cannot study more than 3 months. Okay. However, there is a clause somewhere that unless something has happened that you may not be able to return to wherever you came from. But the question is that what kind of proof will you need for that? That is a story for another day. Okay. So when you talk of skill migration, we have a temporal one. Apart from 190 that is offshore and onshore permanent resident, we have also temporal resident visa, where you can do your skill assessment and you get a visa for 5 years. And that visa 491, immediately you stay in Australia for 3 years. You are eligible, like after 4 years, you're eligible to apply for your permanent residence, and you will get it because it has a subsequent pathway to move over to a particular permanent resident. That is one thing with Australian visa. So sometimes a visa comes in pack. They will tell you once you get this visa, after this year, you will apply for this one. So it goes like that, okay? You can also go for partner visa, find one oyibo, you know how it is. And shoot your shot, man. But I'm not advising people to do that. No, if you have a partner here, they can bring you over, whether male or female, okay? There is a pathway for that as well, okay? So there is also talent, global talent. Yes, Tochi. There is a global talent visa and is a permanent resident, onshore and offshore. So if you have a talent, I made a video about that too. If you have a special talent that you think that will benefit Australia, or even a researcher, okay, musician, lecturers, okay, there are so many things they are interested in. They listed it in their website. So if you have
UK has the same visa too.
So many countries, you know why? They want to tap all these skills. They need it. Yes, they actually value it. Okay, so they take it from the country that don't value it and bring it over and use it. You see how it is?
That's true.
Yeah. So we have that visa, and it's a permanent resident visa, just to make sure they keep you.
Yeah. So if I may come in, please, how is this skill assessment done? Is it like an exam or? No.
Okay. So it depends on your occupation. Just like I said before, it's mostly health sector professionals that do exams. Okay. So what they do is this. The skill assessment is this. You bring your qualification, you bring your experience. So it's not done by one authority. So we have different authorities. So when you see the state occupation list, by the side of it, you will see the assessing authority. It has a column. So it has the code, occupation list. So the name of the occupation, the code for that occupation, ANSCO code. Now they will tell you all the visas. There is a column that will tell you all the visas that occupation is qualified for. Then there is a column that would show you the assessing authority for that visa. All you need is to click that link. Okay, that link will take you to the authority. For example, for an accountant, so you click that, it will take you to the assessing authority. Then in that assessing authority, you will find assessment for migration or overseas professionals. You read their requirements. So when people ask me, what do I need for that? I will say, no, it depends on the authority that is assessing you. Some of them will need recency of practice, like within 3 years, you have practice for 12 months. Some of them will need like 3 years experience. Some of them will need 2 or 1, depending. And they will tell you the level of education they want for that occupation. Some of them will want diploma. Some of them will want certificate. And some of them will want like 4 years degree or 5 years degree. Okay. So it depends. But it is easy because they will show you everything they need. And told you sometimes they will give you a template you will use to arrange your document. For example, your reference and your job experience, how you're supposed to write them. They give you samples, they give you guides. So why not try?
Wow. All right. Thank you very, very much. We are so happy to have you here. And then we've learned a lot, and we know that anybody who is interested in this pathway, already knows what to do, and then they can begin to make, arrangements and everything.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. We appreciate you for coming.
Thank you for having me. We need more Black people here. Come in.
Yeah, so you guys have heard it. Jane wants more Black people in Australia. So you guys start working on it, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helps. And don't forget to visit Jane's channel. Her channel name is Jane Kennick's Creation, and you will get more information about moving to Australia. All right. Thank you so much, Jane, and thank you everybody for watching. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye-bye.